I haven't stared at myself in a long time, which is scary to think about. Because the last time I had to reflect.
Whoever looks into the mirror of the water will see first of all his own face. Whoever goes to himself risks a confrontation with himself. The mirror does not flatter, it faithfully shows whatever looks into it, namely, the face we never showed to the world because we cover it with a persona, the mask of the actor. But the mirror lies behind the mask and shows the true face.
What it feels like to literally feel like you're in the wrong body, like to literally look at yourself in the mirror and see someone that looks foreign to you.
I'm LaShawn.
And I'm Sienna.
And we get judged on our transitions as a transgender couple.
I'm 23 years old and I'm a full-time content creator.
I'm 24 years old and I am a fitness content creator. We met through TikTok. Sienna thought I was a chaser. I came in the live, she wasn't paying attention to me. Her comment section had to help me out.
On TikTok and being on live, a lot of men will say stuff to me, but I'm usually just focused on whatever I'm doing. And LaShawn was commenting, and I wasn't really paying it any mind, but then the comments were girl, go look at his page, go look at his page. And I was oh, okay, period. And I saw this handsome gentleman here. Then we just started talking off and on for some months. Yeah.
And then I had my top surgery, and then she was in the picture ever since.
The word persona originally refers to a theatrical mask worn by actors to depict the roles played by them. In Carl Jung's model of the psyche, the persona lies between our ego and society. The ego refers to our center of consciousness, which is responsible for our continuing sense of identity throughout our life, and the persona is the social mask that we put on. We all embody different masks in different settings, as it is our way to adapt to the demands of society, playing an important part in shaping our social role and in how we deal with other people. But it also has its dangers.
It can get pretty crazy.
People will ask us who's the boy and who's the girl.
Which is so weird.
You can clearly see she's the woman, I'm the man in the relationship.
A lot of people will ask about genitalia. A lot of people will say things why not be with a real man or why not be with a real woman? They equate everything to genitalia when it's so much more than that. Maybe for them, that's what they look for in their relationship, but I couldn't ask for more of a man than what LaShawn provides for me.
It really gets dark on TikTok. They'll use the Bible. They'll say, what are you gonna do when God comes and when it's time for you to get in heaven?
It'll be a lot of people trying to use religion against us or trying to use their own personal beliefs to say that we're going to be condemned. That's their favorite word, is condemned. They do anything for clout.
Loud and wrong. They're lying.
Loud and wrong.
The persona is a complicated system of relations between individual consciousness and society. Fittingly enough, a kind of mask, designed on the one hand to make a definite impression upon others, and on the other to conceal the true nature of the individual.
I just am so much more than my trans identity. One stereotype that a lot of people have about trans women is that we're trying to steal the spotlight or take over the world, or we're trying to take the spot of cisgender being biological women. A lot of people think that trans women are trying to transition to get men, and that is a weird misconception. We just want to feel like us. We don't want to go through the constant gender dysphoria or feeling misplaced. I feel like anybody that's not trans wouldn't understand what it feels like to literally feel like you're in the wrong body, to literally look at yourself in the mirror and see someone that looks foreign to you.
In very rare cases, one can have two or more personalities who have their own opinions and may contradict each other. This is known as dissociative identity disorder, a mental health condition which is usually a result of trauma. In the disintegration process, one can choose three different approaches. Negative restoration, where one pretends that he is as he was before the crucial experience in order to adapt to the status quo. Absence, where one lives without a persona and cannot possibly interact with the world. And restoration, where one develops a persona that one is conscious of and which does not hide one's true self.
I decided to transition and realized that my actual gender was a transgender woman when I was 20 years old.
Do you remember the first time you put on a wig?
Yes, I was taking so many pictures. I wanted to post them so bad, but I was like, no. I had a mustache and everything. I was like, I'm not posting no videos. I'm not posting no half drag.
I decided to transition when I was 19. My name changed in December of 2022. I had my top surgery, which was something major. I haven't like stared at myself in a long time, which is scary to think about. Because the last time I like had to reflect would have been like before I had my top surgery. In that moment, I really didn't like myself then.
The persona begins to form early in childhood, out of a need to conform to the wishes and expectations of parents, peers, and teachers. Children quickly learn that certain attitudes and behaviors are acceptable and may be rewarded with approval, while others are unacceptable and may result in punishment. The tendency is to build acceptable traits into the persona and to keep unacceptable traits hidden or repressed. Perhaps being assertive is seen as rude and socially unacceptable, and one becomes passive, affecting one's relationships and career. Or one can be too agreeable because one doesn't like conflicts, but is taken advantage of. These undesirable aspects eventually take their toll on us as we mature, forming our shadow, the dark side of our personality, whom we may be possessed by at any moment in certain emotional outbursts.
I'm fine with my baby pictures until I see like the color pink or anything girly.
Looking at pictures like this young specifically, I feel like even here, like I was so feminine. I remember that far back, I was still super hyper feminine. It's crazy to think that one day I will be on TikTok and I will meet somebody just like me, but like different, but like the opposite, but like the same, you know?
You just have to throw a little wine in there.
So when me and LaShawn first started dating, everybody was very supportive. My mom loved LaShawn.
The other danger of the persona is an excessive identification with it. This indicates that our individuality is nothing but pure fiction. In rare cases, if the ego is completely identical with the persona, individuality is wholly repressed, representing maximum adaptation to society and minimum adaptation to one's individuality, inhibiting psychological development. Jung writes, "Every calling or profession has its own characteristic persona. A certain kind of behavior is forced on them by the world, and professional people endeavor to come up to these expectations. Only the danger is that they become identical with their personas, the professor with his textbook, the tenor with his voice. Then the damage is done. Henceforth, he lives exclusively against the background of his own biography. One could say, with a little exaggeration, that the persona is that which in reality one is not, but which oneself as well as others think one is."